Question 1. An adjuster is reviewing a fire damage claim under a homeowner's insurance policy. The insured requests reimbursement for both the structural repairs and the cost of renting temporary housing while repairs are completed. The adjuster notices that the policy contains specific provisions about covered perils and additional living expenses. How should the adjuster approach this claim to ensure compliance with standard practices? A. Approve only the structural repairs, as temporary housing is not typically covered in a standard homeowner's policy. B. Deny both claims until the policyholder provides receipts for all incurred expenses. C. Approve both the structural repairs and the ALE if fire damage is a covered peril per policy terms and limits. D. Require the policyholder to pay for all costs upfront and seek reimbursement through a separate policy endorsement. Answer: C. Approve both the structural repairs and the ALE if fire damage is a covered peril per policy terms and limits. Explanation: under standard homeowners policies, additional living expenses are typically covered when the damage results from a covered peril, such as fire that renders the home temporarily uninhabitable. The ALE provision compensates the policyholder for necessary costs to maintain their standard of living elsewhere while the residence is being repaired. In Connecticut, adjusters must ensure that claims adhere to policy terms, which often include limits for ALE, and verify that the peril, fire in this case, is indeed covered. Denying the claim without basis could result in non-compliance with fair claims settlement practices. Question 2. Scenario-based. Mr. Ramirez, a Connecticut-based independent adjuster, is assigned to a claim involving flood damage to a commercial property. The property owner argues that while the building itself was insured against flood, he also expects coverage for damages to a set of equipment he leased, as well as loss of income due to business interruption. Upon reviewing the policy, Mr. Ramirez notices no specific coverage for the leased equipment, but he does see a business interruption clause that applies under certain conditions. How should Mr. Ramirez handle the claim? A. Approve all damages, including leased equipment and business interruption, as part of the property claim under the flood insurance. B. Deny the claim for leased equipment but consider business interruption if the policy conditions are met. C. Approve only the building damages as part of the flood coverage, excluding both leased equipment and business interruption. D. Advise the property owner to add an endorsement to cover leased equipment and business interruption in the future. Answer: B. Deny the claim for leased equipment but consider business interruption if the policy conditions are met. Explanation: flood insurance policies typically cover structural damages to the insured property but may exclude contents such as leased equipment unless specifically included. Business interruption coverage, if applicable, generally covers lost income when physical damage due to a covered peril, flood, in this case, disrupts normal operations. Mr. Ramirez must adhere to the policy terms, excluding non-covered leased equipment but potentially approving business interruption benefits if it meets policy conditions. Connecticut adjusters are expected to follow fair claims practices, assessing coverage limits and exclusions before deciding on non-standard items like leased equipment. Question 3. In Connecticut, which of the following best describes an adjuster's responsibility under the Connecticut Fair Claims Settlement Practices Regulation when they encounter a claim with clear signs of fraud? A. Settle the claim as quickly as possible to avoid potential disputes and penalties. B. Immediately deny the claim, notifying the Connecticut Department of Insurance of suspected fraud. C. Investigate further to substantiate evidence of fraud, document findings, and follow specific reporting protocols. D. Refer the case to an external investigator without discussing the suspected fraud with the policyholder. Answer: C. Investigate further to substantiate evidence of fraud, document findings, and follow specific reporting protocols. Explanation: Connecticut's Fair Claims Settlement Practices Act mandates that adjusters handle each claim fairly and thoroughly, especially when fraud is suspected. An adjuster must investigate and document any evidence of fraud while adhering to ethical and legal standards, avoiding premature denial or settlement. Failure to investigate or document adequately could result in regulatory violations. The Connecticut Department of Insurance expects adjusters to manage suspected fraud cases within a framework of clear documentation, factual evidence, and compliance with reporting guidelines, ensuring that decisions are grounded in legitimate findings. Question 4. An adjuster is reviewing an auto insurance claim for damages sustained in a multi-vehicle accident in Connecticut. One vehicle owner claims that the policy's liability coverage should pay for both property damage and bodily injury expenses. What is the adjuster's best approach to determine if the liability coverage applies to both types of claims? A. Approve both property damage and bodily injury claims automatically, as liability coverage always includes both. B. Review the policy's specific terms to confirm whether bodily injury and property damage are covered under separate or combined liability limits. C. Deny both claims, as auto liability insurance does not cover property damage, only bodily injury. D. Approve the property damage claim and deny bodily injury, since bodily injury is typically covered by health insurance. Answer. B. Review the policy's specific terms to confirm whether bodily injury and property damage are covered under separate or combined liability limits. Explanation. In Connecticut, auto insurance liability coverage typically includes both property damage and bodily injury, but policies often have separate limits or combined single limits for each category. An adjuster must verify the policy details to determine coverage accurately. Automatically approving claims or assuming limitations could result in non-compliance with Connecticut's fair claims settlement practices, which require a thorough review of policy terms. Properly assessing liability coverage is essential for compliance and for providing correct benefits to the insured. Question 5. Scenario-based. MS. Franklin, a homeowner in Connecticut, files a claim for roof damage caused by a recent hailstorm. However, her policy has specific exclusions for certain types of storm damage. During the inspection, the adjuster discovers that the roof had pre-existing wear and tear issues. How should the adjuster handle the claim? A. Approve the entire roof replacement cost, as hail damage is generally a covered peril. B. Approve only the portion directly related to hail damage and exclude repairs due to wear and tear. C. Deny the claim entirely, as the wear and tear voids the policy's coverage for the roof. D. Approve the claim but advise MS. Franklin to seek additional endorsements for future damage. Answer. B. Approve only the portion directly related to hail damage and exclude repairs due to wear and tear. Explanation. In Connecticut, policies commonly cover sudden and accidental damage, like hail, but exclude general wear and tear or maintenance-related issues. By covering only the hail damage portion, the adjuster ensures the claim adheres to the policy's terms. Connecticut insurance regulations require that adjusters fairly assess damages according to what is covered, so distinguishing between hail damage and pre-existing conditions is necessary to remain compliant with state standards and avoid overpayment for uncovered damages. Question 6. Which of the following best describes an adjuster's ethical obligation when handling a claim involving potential conflicts of interest? A. Prioritize the insurance company's interests over the policyholders to minimize the company's liability. B. Disclose the conflict of interest to all parties involved and proceed only if impartiality can be maintained. C. Transfer the claim to another adjuster without informing the policyholder of the conflict. D. Advise the policyholder to withdraw the claim to avoid any appearance of impropriety. Answer. B. Disclose the conflict of interest to all parties involved and proceed only if impartiality can be maintained. Explanation. Connecticut adjusters are bound by ethical standards requiring transparency in cases of potential conflicts of interest. Disclosing any conflict ensures that both the insurer and the policyholder are aware of possible biases and enables an impartial resolution. According to Connecticut's regulations, hiding conflicts or acting unethically may result in penalties, and proceeding without disclosure could violate state fair claims practices. Ethical integrity and transparency are core components of professional standards for adjusters. Question 7. A policyholder files a claim for water damage from a burst pipe in their basement. The adjuster notices that the policy differentiates between water damage and flood damage. Which of the following steps should the adjuster take to determine if the claim is covered? A. Deny the claim immediately, as water damage and flood damage are typically excluded from standard policies. B. Confirm that the damage is classified as water damage due to a burst pipe and assess coverage based on the policy's water damage provisions. C. Approve the claim only if the policyholder has flood insurance, as basement water damage is usually classified as flood-related. D. Request additional documentation from the policyholder before assessing the claim. Answer. B. Confirm that the damage is classified as water damage due to a burst pipe and assess coverage based on the policy's water damage provisions. Explanation. In Connecticut, water damage from a burst pipe is generally distinguishable from flood damage and is often covered under standard homeowners policies, whereas flood damage typically requires a separate policy. An adjuster should evaluate the source of the water and apply the policy's water damage provisions if it was caused by a burst pipe. Connecticut insurance regulations mandate fair and accurate claim assessment, meaning the adjuster must not deny a claim based on flood exclusions if the damage falls under water damage coverage. Question 8. In Connecticut, an adjuster is assessing a commercial property claim where the policyholder has a business interruption endorsement. The policyholder claims significant revenue losses due to downtime after a covered fire. What should the adjuster confirm before approving the business interruption claim? A. That the loss was caused by a covered peril and downtime is within the policy's indemnity period. B. That all property losses are fully settled before addressing business interruption claims. C. That the business owner has exhausted all other financial resources before claiming business interruption. D. That the losses include both property damage and business interruption in the same claim submission. Answer A. That the loss was caused by a covered peril and downtime is within the policy's indemnity period. Explanation: Connecticut commercial policies with business interruption coverage require that revenue losses stem from a covered peril, such as fire, and only cover losses for a specific period known as the indemnity period. The adjuster must verify these criteria to ensure compliance with the policy terms. Proving business interruption claims without confirming a covered peril or adhering to the indemnity period may violate Connecticut's fair claims settlement practices, as each claim must be substantiated by documented policy provisions. Question 9. When handling a liability claim in Connecticut, an adjuster must be aware of the statute of limitations for filing such claims. If a policyholder seeks coverage for property damage resulting from a covered event 2 years ago, what should the adjuster consider regarding the statute of limitations? A. Confirm whether the policy allows filing beyond the 2-year limit in Connecticut. B. Automatically deny the claim since 2 years have passed, which is beyond Connecticut's statute of limitations for property claims. C. Accept the claim as long as it meets the policy's coverage requirements, regardless of time elapsed. D. Refer the claim to the insurance company's legal team to confirm if an exception can be applied. Answer A. Confirm whether the policy allows filing beyond the 2-year limit in Connecticut. Explanation: Connecticut law typically sets specific statutes of limitations on property damage claims, but some policies may include clauses that extend filing time. The adjuster should check both state law and policy terms to determine if the claim can proceed. Denying a claim solely on time elapsed without evaluating policy extensions could breach fair claims settlement practices, as state regulations require that policy terms are considered alongside legal statutes. Question 10. An adjuster is reviewing a homeowner's claim for fire damage. The policy provides both replacement cost (RC) and actual cash value (ACV) settlement options. However, the policyholder initially accepted an ACV payment but now wants to claim the difference for a full RC payout after repairs. Which of the following should the adjuster do? A. Approve the request if the policy allows for a supplemental RC claim within a specified time after repairs. B. Deny the request since the policyholder initially accepted the ACV settlement, finalizing the claim. C. Approve the RC request automatically, as both options should always be available regardless of timing. D. Request a waiver form from the policyholder before granting the RC difference. Answer A. Approve the request if the policy allows for a supplemental RC claim within a specified time after repairs. Explanation: In Connecticut, many homeowners' policies provide replacement cost coverage as a supplement to an initial actual cash value payment, provided that the claim is refiled within a stipulated timeframe after repairs. The adjuster must verify the policy's specific terms, as Connecticut's fair claims regulations require adherence to stated policy provisions. Denying a claim solely based on an initial ACV payout may be non-compliant if the policyholder retains the right to pursue RC coverage. Question 11. Scenario-based. Mr. Waltz has a commercial property policy that covers specific perils, including wind and hail. After a severe windstorm, he files a claim for structural and interior water damage. The adjuster discovers that the windows were left open during the storm, leading to some of the water damage inside. How should the adjuster handle this situation? A. Approve the entire claim, as wind damage is a covered peril. B. Deny the claim entirely, as the open windows constitute negligence by the policyholder. C. Approve only the structural damage related to the wind and deny coverage for water damage that entered through open windows. D. Approve only half of the claim to cover both negligence and covered perils. Answer C. Approve only the structural damage related to the wind and deny coverage for water damage that entered through open windows. Explanation: in Connecticut, policies typically exclude losses due to negligence. Since the water damage was exacerbated by the open windows, the adjuster should exclude this portion from the claim. However, since wind damage is covered, the structural damage is directly attributable to wind may be covered. Adjusters are required by Connecticut's Fair Claims standards to differentiate between covered and non-covered losses, then settle accordingly. Question 12. Which of the following best describes the difference between a staff adjuster and an independent adjuster? A. A staff adjuster works for a third-party firm, while an independent adjuster is an employee of an insurance company. B. A staff adjuster is an employee of the insurance company, while an independent adjuster is contracted to handle claims on behalf of the insurer. C. Staff adjusters handle only small claims, whereas independent adjusters handle large, complex claims. D. Independent adjusters work only in catastrophe situations, while staff adjusters work year-round. Answer: B. A staff adjuster is an employee of the insurance company, while an independent adjuster is contracted to handle claims on behalf of the insurer. Explanation: staff adjusters are employees of the insurance company and typically work on claims for that company exclusively. Independent adjusters are contracted by insurers as needed, especially during times of high claim volume or catastrophe situations. This distinction is crucial under Connecticut regulations, as different ethical and professional standards may apply based on the type of adjuster and their relationship to the insurer. Question 13. In Connecticut, an adjuster is handling a homeowner's claim under a named peril policy. The policyholder has filed for damage caused by a power surge following a lightning strike. Which of the following actions should the adjuster take? A. Deny the claim, as power surges are not typically included in named peril policies. B. Approve the claim only if the policy explicitly lists power surges as a named peril. C. Approve the claim if lightning is a named peril, as power surges caused by lightning would be covered. D. Deny the claim and advise the policyholder to purchase additional coverage for power surges. Answer: C. Approve the claim if lightning is a named peril, as power surges caused by lightning would be covered. Explanation: named peril policies cover only specific perils listed in the policy. If lightning is a named peril, resulting damages such as power surges from a lightning strike are typically covered as a direct consequence of that peril. Under Connecticut insurance regulations, adjusters must interpret policy language precisely and apply coverage accordingly, ensuring any covered peril extends to all reasonable outcomes from that peril. Question 14. An adjuster in Connecticut is reviewing a worker's compensation claim for a worker injured while traveling to a remote job site. The employer argues that travel-related injuries are not covered. How should the adjuster evaluate this claim? A. Deny the claim, as workers' compensation does not cover travel to work locations. B. Approve the claim if travel was required by the employer as part of the worker's duties. C. Deny the claim unless the worker can prove the injury was entirely work-related. D. Approve the claim only if the worker was traveling in a company vehicle. Answer: B. Approve the claim if travel was required by the employer as part of the worker's duties. Explanation: under Connecticut's workers' compensation laws, travel injuries are covered if the travel is an inherent part of the job duties, such as commuting to remote sites required by the employer. These circumstances are considered part of employment rather than the employee's personal commute. Proper assessment of such claims is required to ensure compliance with Connecticut's workers' compensation guidelines and to honor the employer's liability coverage. Question 15. In a Connecticut commercial general liability (CGL) policy, which of the following would typically be excluded from bodily injury coverage? A. Bodily injury caused by a defect in the insured's product. B. Bodily injury resulting from intentional harm by the insured. C. Bodily injury arising from a slip and fall incident on the insured's premises. D. Bodily injury from an employee's actions while performing job duties. Answer: B. Bodily injury resulting from intentional harm by the insured. Explanation: CGL policies exclude coverage for bodily injury that is intentionally caused by the insured. This exclusion aligns with Connecticut law, as insurance generally does not cover willful or malicious acts. By contrast, injuries from defective products, accidental incidents, or employees' job-related actions are typically covered unless other specific exclusions apply. Connecticut insurance regulations require that adjusters understand and apply these exclusions accurately. Question 16. A homeowner's policy in Connecticut includes an exclusion for earth movement. If a policyholder files a claim for damage to their foundation caused by shifting soil, what is the most appropriate response from the adjuster? A. Approve the claim if the earth movement was triggered by a covered peril, such as a nearby explosion. B. Deny the claim, as all earth movement, regardless of cause, is excluded. C. Approve the claim only if the homeowner has specific earthquake insurance. D. Request an engineering report before making a decision on the claim. Answer A. Approve the claim if the earth movement was triggered by a covered peril, such as a nearby explosion. Explanation. In Connecticut, earth movement exclusions typically apply unless caused by a covered peril, like an explosion. Adjusters must carefully evaluate the cause of the movement to determine coverage. Denying a claim without considering possible exceptions could violate fair claims practices, as state guidelines mandate adherence to policy terms that specify how earth movement exclusions are applied. Question 17. Which of the following scenarios would most likely lead to a subrogation action by an adjuster under Connecticut law? A. The insurer pays out a claim for a vehicle damaged in an accident caused by a third-party driver. B. The insurer pays out a claim for a homeowner's wind damage caused by a natural disaster. C. The insurer pays out a claim for damage from a fire started by the policyholder. D. The insurer pays out a claim for flood damage in a property without flood insurance. Answer A. The insurer pays out a claim for a vehicle damaged in an accident caused by a third-party driver. Explanation. Subrogation is the right of the insurer to recover costs from a third party responsible for the loss. In Connecticut, this commonly applies when a third-party driver causes an accident, as the insurer could pursue the responsible party for reimbursement. Claims involving natural disasters, policyholder fault, or lack of specific coverage like flood insurance do not typically provide grounds for subrogation. Question 18. A policyholder in Connecticut claims loss of income due to damage to their business premises, but the policy has a waiting period for business interruption coverage. Which action should the adjuster take? A. Approve the claim from the first day of business interruption. B. Deny the claim if the waiting period was not met. C. Approve only part of the claim that falls after the waiting period. D. Deny the claim entirely if the waiting period was set by state regulation. Answer. C. Approve only part of the claim that falls after the waiting period. Explanation. Adjusters must enforce these waiting period provisions as outlined in the policy, which may specify a delay of several hours or days before coverage kicks in. This helps insurers manage short-term risks and ensures policyholders receive compensation only for sustained losses. In Connecticut, adjusters are required to follow policy terms strictly, including waiting periods, to comply with fair claims practices and avoid disputes over prematurely approved claims. Question 19. In Connecticut, an adjuster handling a bodily injury claim from a motor vehicle accident must obtain a statement from the claimant. Which of the following is the best approach to ensure compliance with Connecticut's fair claims practices? A. Request a written statement but provide no guidance to avoid influencing the claimant. B. Ask the claimant to submit their statement only after they've consulted an attorney. C. Obtain the statement verbally and provide a transcript for the claimant to review and confirm. D. Only request a statement if the insurer requires it for all bodily injury claims. Answer. C. Obtain the statement verbally and provide a transcript for the claimant to review and confirm. Explanation. Connecticut's fair claims practices emphasize transparency and accuracy in gathering information. Providing a transcript allows the claimant to review and ensure their statement is accurately recorded, reducing misunderstandings or disputes later. While consulting an attorney is a claimant's right, it's not a requirement for giving a statement, and fair practices encourage adjusters to facilitate this process in a non-coercive, clear manner. Question 20. A Connecticut policyholder with homeowners insurance submits a claim for theft of jewelry. The policy includes a $5,000 sublimit for jewelry losses due to theft. The total value of the stolen items is estimated at $12,000. How should the adjuster handle this claim? A. Approve a payout of $12,000 since that is the value of the loss. B. Deny the claim due to insufficient documentation of the jewelry's value. C. Approve a payout of $5,000 as the policy sublimit applies to theft losses. D. Request additional information before making any payout regardless of the policy sublimit. Answer. C. Approve a payout of $5,000 as the policy sublimit applies to theft losses. Explanation. Many homeowners' policies include sublimits for certain types of personal property, such as jewelry, in cases of theft. In Connecticut, an adjuster must apply the sublimits when settling claims, ensuring the payout does not exceed policy restrictions. Although the loss is greater, the sublimit caps the insurer's liability to $5,000 for this type of theft-related claim. Question 21. Under Connecticut insurance law, which of the following scenarios would require an adjuster to apply comparative negligence principles? State an auto accident where both drivers have identical policies and full coverage. B. A slip and fall incident at a business where both the business and claimant share fault. C. A property damage claim where the policyholder and a contractor both contributed to the damage. D. A vehicle theft claim where the policyholder left the car unlocked. Answer. B. A slip and fall incident at a business where both the business and claimant share fault. Explanation. Connecticut follows comparative negligence principles, meaning damages may be apportioned based on each party's degree of fault. In cases like slip and fall incidents where both parties may have contributed to the incident, the adjuster must assess and apply fault percentages when calculating liability and payouts. This principle does not apply to property damage or theft claims where only the policyholder's actions are considered. Question 22. A Connecticut insurer is handling a claim involving a policyholder who has submitted documentation for replacement cost reimbursement on a damaged roof. If the insurer wishes to conduct a re-inspection to confirm the work was completed, which of the following is the appropriate course of action? A. Conduct the re-inspection without notifying the policyholder to maintain objectivity. B. Notify the policyholder of the re-inspection and schedule a mutually agreeable time. C. Decline the re-inspection if the policyholder provides photographs of the repairs. D. Conduct the re-inspection only if the policyholder agrees to a written release form. Answer. B. Notify the policyholder of the re-inspection and schedule at mutually agreeable time. Explanation. Connecticut's insurance regulations require transparency and fairness, meaning policyholders should be informed of any re-inspections. Arranging a convenient time shows respect for the policyholder's rights and builds trust. Skipping the re-inspection or relying solely on photographs could lead to insufficient documentation, potentially affecting claim accuracy. Question 23. In Connecticut, which of the following scenarios would most likely be covered by a standard homeowner's policy? A. Damage caused by a burst pipe in an unheated home during winter. B. Damage from a flood resulting in water infiltration through basement windows. C. Damage to an outdoor shed caused by a fallen tree during a storm. D. Damage from termites weakening the structure of the home. Answer. C. Damage to an outdoor shed caused by a fallen tree during a storm. Explanation. Most standard homeowners policies cover damage caused by falling objects, including trees, especially if it is due to a storm. However, exclusions generally apply to flood damage, damages due to poor maintenance, such as unheated pipes in winter, and damages from pests like termites. Connecticut homeowners should review their policy inclusions and exclusions to understand coverage limitations. Question 24. A Connecticut insured business was forced to close due to a mandatory evacuation order following a chemical spill nearby. The business's insurance policy includes civil authority coverage. What is the adjuster's responsibility in handling the business interruption claim? A. Deny the claim, as the property itself was not directly damaged by the spill. B. Approve the claim if civil authority coverage includes losses from mandatory evacuation orders. C. Request proof of financial hardship before approving the claim. D. Approve the claim only if the policy explicitly mentions chemical spills. Answer. B. Approve the claim if civil authority coverage includes losses from mandatory evacuation orders. Explanation. Civil authority coverage typically protects businesses when access to their premises is prohibited by a government order, even if the property itself is undamaged. Connecticut policies often cover interruptions due to evacuation or access restrictions for public safety. The adjuster should confirm if the policy's civil authority clause includes such scenarios and process the claim accordingly. Question 25. A homeowner in Connecticut submits a claim for mold damage in their basement after a flood. The adjuster notes that the homeowner's policy excludes both flood and mold damage. What should the adjuster do? A. Approve the claim due to the high health risks associated with mold. B. Deny the claim because the policy excludes both flood and mold damage. C. Recommend a partial payout for mold cleanup as a goodwill gesture. D. Offer to add mold coverage for future claims. Answer. B. Deny the claim because the policy excludes both flood and mold damage. Explanation. Standard homeowners policies generally exclude both flood and mold damage, especially if caused by flooding. In Connecticut, Adjusters must adhere to policy exclusions even if the claimant's situation is severe. The adjuster should communicate the exclusion clearly and may suggest additional coverage options if the homeowner wishes to prevent similar issues in the future. Question 26. Which of the following statements about Connecticut's insurance department and its role in fair claims practices is true? A. The department sets binding rates and premiums for all types of insurance in the state. B. The department primarily handles consumer complaints related to denied or delayed claims. C. It provides legal counsel to policyholders in insurance disputes. D. The department mandates uniform policy wording across all insurance providers. Answer: B. The department primarily handles consumer complaints related to denied or delayed claims. Explanation: Connecticut's insurance department oversees the fair treatment of consumers in the insurance industry, including addressing complaints about claim denials, delays, and other issues. While it doesn't set all rates or policy wordings, it ensures compliance with state laws and resolves disputes between insurers and policyholders, fostering fair claims practices. Question 27. A Connecticut insurance policyholder files a claim for damage caused by a falling tree during a storm. The adjuster finds that the tree was previously diseased and weakened before the storm. How should the adjuster handle this claim? A. Deny the claim due to pre-existing conditions affecting the tree. B. Approve the claim since the damage occurred during the storm. C. Only partially approve the claim, citing maintenance issues. D. Request a second opinion before making a decision. Answer: B. Approve the claim since the damage occurred during the storm. Explanation: in Connecticut, insurance policies typically cover damage caused by falling objects during a storm, regardless of the pre-existing condition of the tree. The adjuster should assess the claim based on the event that caused the damage. While maintenance issues may be relevant for other claims, they do not invalidate coverage for storm-related incidents. Question 28. During a property inspection in Connecticut, an adjuster discovers that the insured has made unreported renovations to their home, which significantly increase its value. How should the adjuster proceed? A. Ignore the renovations since they are unreported. B. Deny any claims related to the property until the renovations are reported. C. Notify the policyholder about the need to update their policy for accurate coverage. D. Approve the claim with the current policy limits, regardless of renovations. Answer: C. Notify the policyholder about the need to update their policy for accurate coverage. Explanation: Connecticut requires that policyholders maintain accurate representations of their property for proper coverage. The adjuster should inform the insured of the renovations and the potential impact on their coverage limits, encouraging them to update their policy to reflect the increased value. This ensures the policyholder has adequate coverage in case of future claims. Question 29. A Connecticut homeowner experiences extensive water damage from a burst pipe. The homeowner's policy includes coverage for water damage but excludes damage caused by neglect. The adjuster learns the homeowner had been aware of a slow leak prior to the burst. How should the adjuster handle this situation? A. Approve the claim as water damage is generally covered. B. Deny the claim due to the homeowner's neglect in addressing the slow leak. C. Recommend a partial payout, citing shared responsibility. D. Request further evidence before making a decision. Answer: B. Deny the claim due to the homeowner's neglect in addressing the slow leak. Explanation: in Connecticut, homeowners' insurance policies often exclude coverage for damages resulting from neglect or lack of maintenance. Since the homeowner was aware of the slow leak and did not take action to fix it, the adjuster should deny the claim based on the exclusion related to neglect. Clear documentation of the homeowner's knowledge and failure to act is essential for justifying the denial. Question 30. A Connecticut-based business owner is seeking to file a claim for business interruption after a severe storm disrupts operations. The business was not damaged, but a neighboring road was closed, preventing customer access. Which of the following should the adjuster consider? A. The business interruption claim is invalid since the property itself was not damaged. B. Civil authority coverage may apply if a government order restricts access due to the storm. C. The claim should be denied due to lack of direct property damage. D. Approve the claim based on general business interruption coverage. Answer: B. Civil authority coverage may apply if a government order restricts access due to the storm. Explanation: in Connecticut, many business interruption policies include civil authority coverage, which provides compensation when access to the business is restricted by a government order due to events such as severe storms, even if the business property itself is undamaged. The adjuster should investigate whether such an order was in place and consider the implications for the claim accordingly.